Hello and welcome to the Nihil channel. My name is Chris, and you should be able to see me a lot crisper now. Yeah, that Odd-Eye fight got a little bit fuzzy, didn't it? So I spent hours last night trying to make sure that everything looked as crisp as possible and changing a ton of settings to get more out of my computer. My least favorite part out of all of this. But it's something that you gotta do. I'm also joined today by Sean again.
Good morning, Nihil channel. Thanks for having me back, Chris. It's fun to be back. I didn't think we'd be on again so soon, but we're actually caught up. You know, normally I get to co-host while I'm a couple episodes behind, but we just saw the Odd-Eye fight yesterday, so
That's right. And
we can talk about how the floor didn't work, or about how crazy that I-beam was, or whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. And yeah, the reason for that is I'm working hard on the finale. It might be delayed a little bit because you guys know I like to go big on the finales, but it will be worth it. So no worries. And I have some other stuff to keep you guys held over in the meantime. So without further ado, let's press on to This Is Insane. I'm assuming on the map, like the overworld, there was a giant pit with the tower sticking out, so I'm assuming we're walking across a tiny little bridge into that tower.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, this tower that is coming up from the abyss, I wouldn't want to walk off that bridge.
No, and somebody reminded me too, I totally made this battle sword for Luke, and then I totally didn't use it, so let's fix that real quick. See, I don't just respond to the comments, I read them. Who are you? Oh, it's Creed. Unbelievable, you finally arrived. Creed? I mean, Mr. That's okay, Peter. I doubted you'd ever make it here. Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence, Creed. The enemies you faced so far were strong. Yes, they were. Why am I here? Is that your question, Bowie? Why are you here? How did you get here? Why was your house, like, in shambles? Yeah, I have a couple questions, yeah. I wanted to help you. There is no church around here. Think of me as a priest. Now what can I do for you? Welcome, your desire will be fulfilled. That's fun. I believe everybody's alive. Yeah, because I ran back. So no, we don't have another desire. I wanted to talk about too, well, we'll talk about it when we get into whatever's next, because I got some thoughts. Who are you? Oh, are you from Grand Seal? I don't know who's speaking. Oh, that's so far up. Oh, it's another frog. But Odd-Eye went to... Impossible, he was defeated? Inconceivable. But, okay, I'll stop you here. You shall die now. Okay. I see. Okay, I would have hidden a secret down here.
You don't know that there's nothing hidden down there. You could always take Luke down there to find out.
I can't search.
Oh, that's right. So it might be there in the Japanese version, but even if it were, we couldn't play with it today.
Right. Let's see. This is a crazy looking map, and then we got a purple goat, blue shaman. Okay. And the frog is still a reaper. Alright, interesting. Alright, well, we'll get underway. Yeah, so one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about was, Odd-Eye. People were talking about how he is that's like the Elliot fight of this game. Respectfully disagree. Because Elliot, the whole thing was that he's not evil, he just serves a country that happens to be at war with yours. And this is like an unfortunate thing. Odd-Eye sure seemed evil. Like, he seemed like not totally a bad guy. But he definitely was willing to do evil things, so, like, it's weird to me to not sort of own up to that.
It's interesting you say that. The Odd Eye story, it seems like there was some genuine innocence to Adler as a character. And maybe not. Maybe we were all just fooled. But it did seem as though for a period there, he did want to help Bowie. He did want to help make everything right. And so, is there maybe just a little bit of conflict when you wanted to help somebody, and then your memory comes back and you realize, oh no, I'm here to kill this person. I wonder if there was just maybe a little bit of conflict. And maybe I'm reading too much into things, but that's kind of how I've always read it. You're right. It's not the same as Elliot, but there's a little something there. Yeah,
I can see that. I wouldn't call it this game's Elliot fight, but I would still say it's a special fight. And there's definitely more there than meets the eye, I think. Yeah, I saw that coming. I'm actually going to pause here for 1 second, turn you down just a tiny bit.
It's a good problem to have. I enjoyed being a co-host a couple weeks ago so very much that I went out and got a decent microphone, so hopefully it does sound a lot crisper and cleaner. I know it didn't sound bad last time, but I think we all like to be heard as best as we can.
Yes. Yeah, I think you said this one sounds really good. What did you end up getting, if you know offhand?
I do. So we'll get into tech speak here for just a moment. Like most people, I started with Google, and I went to Google and I said, what are the best microphones for somebody who is just doing something in their house? And everything said mostly the same thing. They all said you want to get one of those Blue Yeti microphones. That's the big one that I saw listed over and over and over again. And then I started to talk to some people who actually do some podcasting. And one of the things that they told me is apparently the problem with a microphone like that is it's really great if you have a studio where everything is sound dampened. Whereas in my case, I'm currently sitting in a room in my house with big open ceilings and a clickety-clack keyboard in front of me, and none of the studio stuff. And so I was told, what you want to avoid is buying those kinds of keyboards because you actually end up with a whole lot of ambient noise. And so, it would be a lot of echoes, and you'd hear like people walking around in the background. So
yeah,
what I got, it looks like your typical microphone, right? When we all think about what a microphone looks like, right? It's the little long black thing that sits on a stand. It's got the little foam cover on it for noise protection, but the brand of it's a Samson microphone, and it wasn't very expensive. It's a $60 microphone, which compared to a lot of things you can buy today felt pretty reasonable. But I've been very happy with it so far.
When you were talking about Blue Yetis, I was showing off I've got a blue Snowball is what I use, so I was showing
and
that
so do
off.
you have We've all, of course, seen your picture during the streams. Do you have any kind of sound dampening, or have you just got the settings just right?
I've got the settings just right, I think. I like to think so. And then it helps that, like in your case, I know you have kids running around and stuff. I don't have kids, so that helps. I've got a much quieter environment to work with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The most
Unfortunately,
that happens is my dogs are in the background, but there's not a mic in existence that could filter them out when they want to be heard.
Yes, that is absolutely true. That's certainly true for kids. We had talked, I think, last time about a Shining Force Clash tournament, which is still ongoing. Oh, we got it. Neutral's going to be so happy. So
that was cool.
You can guess what that was.
So that was because I have the geese arm.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. And I swear that is a feature in Shining Force 1 as well. It's on one weapon only, which is the Doom Blade, which is the Hanzao weapon.
I've never seen it. But you get Hanzo for such a short time.
Yes.
That, like, I'm not gonna say for sure no.
you can get a Doom Blade a little bit earlier. There's an enemy, I think it's called the Dullahan, that
Yes.
carries it. But you're right, I've never seen it either. And I've played Shining Force 2. I've only seen it with Slade probably once or twice. So even here, it's pretty rare. So I'm glad we got to see it.
Yeah, that was cool.
But back to the Shining Force clash. I'm sure everybody's happy to hear. So I was against Woodhouse 204 in the first round. Woodhouse roundly defeated me in straight sets. So that means that the upcoming match is going to be Woodhouse against Nihil here. So hopefully that means there will be a video of some kind. But we didn't record our match. We talked through Discord. There was plenty of child noise in the background. And as you said, I could not have stopped that if I tried.
Yeah, and yes, there will be, I'm sure that we'll record it. I don't know if he will, but I know I will. And whenever it's a situation like that, I never mind, like, both of us putting out the same video, like, I don't care. Always an option. So yep, you guys will get more Versus content, very soon. I need to host my own tournament one of these days so I can, like, film every match and, like, commentate and stuff and make it a whole thing. If you guys want to see that, let me know. And we'll make that happen. Because I know, like, the Advance Wars community does that with their stuff. They'll host these giant tournaments and film them, and looks really cool by the end.
So now, Advance Wars, you and Neutral talked a little bit about the upcoming re-release or remaster of Advance Wars.
That just got pushed off again, apparently.
Yeah, and I'm certainly disappointed about that. That was a game that I enjoyed a lot, but it makes me think.
Apparently, the game's just lot in life. Because I heard the original was gonna release in America. Maybe it did, and then like 9/11 happened like right after. So then it was like war again was like kind of a weird, iffy subject, and it just seems like this is just how that series is gonna go.
It definitely did release in the US. I did not have a copy, but I had a friend that did, and I remember playing it with him because what made the game great was that it had built-in single console multiplayer. No. Sorry, Peter. Where you could hand the Game Boy back and forth between two people and take turns, and that was how we played.
Which is super cool.
It was super cool, and so it was a very fun game. And so I remember playing that with him. I remember I owned the second one, which I thought was pretty much a straight upgrade of the first. So I was looking forward to seeing them re-released.
Oh, there's people that'll fight you on that.
I'm sure they will. The second one it's kind of like Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2.
Yes.
Where there's a lot of improved mechanics, there's a lot more mechanics, it's more robust on the story side. But I will say the first one has a lot of charm to it. There's just a simplicity to it. I love them both, so I'm certainly not trying to say the first one's bad. The reason I bring them up, however, we were having a conversation prior to the start of the stream. We were talking about what is a strategy RPG, and you had mentioned that you had been reading a website that had different categories of games that were strategy RPGs or strategy RPG adjacent. And yes, I suspect Advanced Wars would fall into that second category.
Yes. I'm totally cool talking about that too. Like, it was Harvester of Eyes website, who is another YouTuber that has kind of quit the internet because he felt very underappreciated. And that made me sad, because I did appreciate the work he was doing for SRPG stuff. And he had a website called SRPG Academy that he maintained that had like a list of every SRPG in existence. He was trying to get them all. It was a very big project, and he was trying to review all of them as well. And I have some thoughts about that. Because he, in his sort of rage quit video, he talked about some of the reasons why it was like he, felt underappreciated or things like that. And I don't think he's totally wrong about everything he said. There's some that I was like, I would disagree with, but there's some too that I was like, yeah, definitely. One is we always talk about we want Shining Force 4. Or some people want a remake of Shining Force. Like the very first one. Or, I'm sorry, a second remake. But one of his kind of criticisms was you say you want these things, but how often do you buy games in that genre? How often do you actually support that genre? And I was like, yeah, that's a very good question, and I definitely could do better as well. I'm trying to, because I like games like this, and I want more made, so I actually am making an effort to, when a new big one comes out, like, what's the newest one that just came out? Symphony of War. You'll probably see a Let's Play of that on here at some point. And I bought it on release weekend, because I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a Shining Force style game. And I want more of those. So I need to make sure that I am doing what I can to make sure more of those get made. And when they do, buying them.
I tried to space my characters out. I wasn't thinking about the raining bolt attacks. That was not as effective as I hoped.
Yeah, I was not thinking about that either, to be fair. I just was like, oh, hey, will that work? And then it sure did. But yeah,
so I
just want to encourage people to play more SRPGs. It's good for the genre. You'll be happy you did. Yeah. What were you saying?
As a quick aside, yes, I noticed that you were fiddling with Lemon's weapons. I saw one of the comments on our video talking about the fact that there's a known glitch that Lemon can only equip the Dark Sword in certain copies of the game. And
really?
From the research that I was doing, I don't think that applies to the version you're playing, but I wanted to see if maybe you could try to equip the ground axe, see if it works.
Sure. Let me make a save state to make sure that, like, I don't, so I don't break something.
Probably a good idea.
Because whenever you're telling me about glitches, yeah, let's be cautious. So we'll call it Lemon Weapon. Okay. Alright, let's give it a shot. So, we'll do item, equip. Oh, well.
There is that. I'd forgotten about that part. So that's probably not the glitch that they meant, but maybe something to check out after the battle.
Yeah, we'll do that. Do I wanna? Can I? No, I can't. Alright, yeah, we'll go for it. Why not? It'd be cool if it worked. Hey!
Nice. Very
nice. That looks so cool. I didn't know the Reaper had a little, like, animation where he attacks him.
I don't think that was something in Shining Force 1. I think it may be new for this game. Someone in the comments correct me, but one of those little improvements.
Yeah, that's cool. Definitely a little unexpected surprise. Alright. Can we reach anyone that needs this? Not really. Another thing that you were interested in talking about was that floor not working in the last battle.
Yes. Well, so what I had observed, of course, after the Gesh fight was that these glitches are just very, very common in this player-controlled version of the game. And so after you and I finished, and after the Gesh fight was uploaded, I was chatting with Darklaw. For those of you who don't know, Darklaw is a modder for Shining Force 2. He created the mods War of the Gods, Shining Tactics, and I think it's called Shining Force Requiem.
Yes.
And I mentioned that it didn't work, and he said, yeah, that's pretty common. And I had asked him, because I knew that this fight was coming up, I wonder if the floors of the Oddite fight will work or not. because Neutral had mentioned that, what should happen is that you can actually fall through the floor if you're on the wrong tile. And what Darklaw said, and Neutral actually went back and double-checked it and confirmed this, it's not that you can fall through the floor. As a matter of fact, in the Odd-Eye fight, those aren't technically floors at all. They're just meant to look like floors, and then the graphics change when you reach a certain point. And that's why you couldn't move where you thought you'd be able to, because those weren't ever actually floors in the first place. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because I didn't know any of that going in, but apparently that's a known thing about that fight.
I see. Yeah, I had no idea there was anything that was going to happen during that, so when Neutral at the end was just like, and it didn't work, I was like, and what didn't work?
Right. Yeah, if you're not familiar with where the floors disappear, it can be a little bit of a frustrating fight because there's only one quote-unquote correct path, and so you can end up sending your force the wrong way, and then suddenly they can't help, which makes the fight more exciting because you're just, you're working with half of your force.
Yeah. Or you're taking a long time to just send everybody around.
Yes, depending on your and your co-host's level of patience.
Yeah, for the show, I probably wouldn't. Off the show, probably would. I'm pretty patient when it comes to stuff like that. He's probably got some magic resist, so I'm gonna go big. Yeah, that just barely killed him. So I'll say that was the right call.
Kaizen is pulling his own remarkably well all the way through the end of the game. It's something that I think in general is pretty good in Shining Force 2, but mages are such an interesting thing in this game. They're either really good or they're really bad. But Kaizen's pretty comfortably held his own without ever feeling overpowered.
Yeah, the one you've told me I should be the most impressed about seems to be Luke.
That is his reputation. His reputation is, it's kind of like the Bird Warriors in Shining Force 1, which is he's not bad, but he's not good either.
Yeah.
Now, if it was Screech, we'd be having a whole different conversation. Screech is notorious. He's like Kiwi. Everyone always says, well, why would you ever use Screech?
I have heard that.
Speaking of Kiwi, as I'm sitting here looking at the frog at the top, you keep referring to this Grim Reaper as a frog. I thought to myself, I wonder if that wouldn't be a more fun promotion sprite for Kiwi, if he went from a little helmeted turtle to a robed turtle, as opposed to from a helmeted turtle into, I don't know, a dinosaur?
Into, I forget what that character is. Is it Gamera?
Is that from Curse of Xeon?
No, Gamera is he's like a Godzilla-esque character that seems like what Kiwi was modeled after. That definitely seems like what they had in mind.
Got it.
It's like a big turtle that looks exactly like that, and he flies and stuff. It's weird, and he might shoot fire. I was about to say, you can do that and I'll snipe him with Kaizen, that's fine.
Yeah, I was certainly tempted. No, I was hoping that I could catch Kaizen on the ledge, but not quite.
Oh, I thought I could help out right there, but apparently I can't. Can't reach. These pillars are definitely a little bit difficult to work with.
They are, but they're full of surprises.
Yes, they are. Ah.
You are right, by the way. These are some cute-looking hydras. That dodge animation was pretty cute as well.
Oh, yeah. I don't even like snakes, but... I don't know. Goodness. The crits on that.
Yeah, and I think I got 7 people, which I don't think I've ever seen an enemy spell catch quite so many force members.
Yeah, that was good. I'm afraid of this Hydra. The Hydras are scary. Uh-oh. How much does that do? A lot.
Just enough.
Let's see. I think we'll start getting him out of here. Goodness. The RNG is not liking me today.
She giveth and she taketh away.
Yes, she does.
I did see in one of the comments on one of the videos, I think it was the Odd Eye fight, somebody mentioned that there is some RNG manipulation in this game. I know that you seem pretty good on equipment, but there may be something to that when it comes to figuring out how to get those knuckles for the master monks or some of those other things.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do that or not. Because yeah, like you said, I think I'm good on equipment, and it would just take a lot more time. But it's also that it's just the master monks left, and they're not really getting the opportunity to fight much. Like, I just constantly need them for other things.
Yes, that makes sense. There's plenty of healing to do.
Oh my gosh, all the crits. Let's do that. Decent level for Bowie. I'm noticing a lot more in this game too, with the like multi-stat point levels. That was pretty rare in Shining Force 1, and now it's like every level up you get 2, HP 2, attack 2, defense 2.
Yes, so I am not anywhere nearly as mechanically savvy as some of the other viewers and hosts, but what I've observed as a player is it seems like...
Oh!
It seems like there's a plan that the game has depending on whether or not the enemy whether or not the character has weapons. So it seems to me that if a character has a weapon, that they get a certain type of stat up, and if they don't have weapons, Zink, Claude, Peter, and Geralt, then it tends to be more.
I see.
And again, I don't know that, but it does seem like you're absolutely right. There's clearly some kind of expectation, and I just don't know what it is.
I'm like, do I swing or do I try and... Oh, Diesel doesn't hit more than one target, so... Yeah, I guess we just start swinging. I think it's Diesel 2 that hits more targets.
Yes, that's right.
Alright. We're looking pretty rough here, I know. Ah, I was hoping for a double or the Geese Arms thing to go off or a crit or something just to get that guy out of here.
Like you said, the numbers are just... they're rolling a certain way.
They are. I think that'll do it. There we go. I'm starting to get a little bit of a sense of these spells.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty impressed. Again, just a sample size of 1, but I never could figure them out. It was always... I think because the elements weren't always clear to me, I heard Neutral say that the Atlas spell, the hands, is lightning type. I would never been able to tell you that. I had no idea.
I wouldn't either. And then Dao, the earth one, is actually like wind. Hey!
There we go.
The best is still when I've used like a stat booster that gives 1 HP and then somebody lives by 1. I'm like, making good choices.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yes. Running out of MP, but I'll have her do what she can. There's a lot more enemies to go.
Yeah, we're not even halfway, I don't think.
I don't think so. This might be a 2-attempter, but that's okay.
I wasn't expecting it to be. Between the
I wouldn't either.
Odd-eye fight, and I won't spoil anything, but, you know, what's to come. I really thought that this was going to be a bit of a speed bump, but here we are.
I thought so too, but enemies are just good at this point. And I probably have made some... I could have made some better choices, probably. That is also usually the case. A guy with 2 HP killing a guy with 1 HP, perfect.
How do I keep this interesting?
Oh, alright.
That wasn't interesting.
I thought that
hoping that would do more.
I thought that would do a lot more. I was thinking that would do like 50.
Yeah.
Alright. No.
Gerhalt's behind the column.
Yeah, he is. I'm just trying to figure out who to heal and in what order. I think Lemon first. And then we might need to pass some turns and just heal people. So because this is wind, this should do more. Because he's flying, I think. I feel like that did less. I don't know. There we go. Don't miss. What? Oh, the curse actually kicked in for once.
Yes, and unlike in Shining Force 1, the curses are actually pretty debilitating in Shining Force 2. It's something you definitely want to avoid.
Yeah, but I don't know. It hasn't been an issue so far, and I felt like we definitely needed to use his what's it called? His dark saber, because it's cool.
Oh, absolutely. I'd forgotten that the curse was a stun. But yes, it was bound to, with the luck you're having, it was bound to kick in.
That is true. Now let's do that. That should get it. There we go. Getting some more levels on Kaizen, which is good. I think he's been lagging a little bit behind.
And just think, only, I think, 12 or 13 more levels until you can get Atlas level 2.
Oh yeah. I don't think we'll see that.
No, some of the spell levels for characters in Shining Force 2, like Tyron 2, it's just crazy, crazy high levels.
Oops. Nope. Well, I said all that about not using Sarah or the Master Max to fight, and now she's gonna be up there fighting. This is all we got now. It's all we got left.
Well, yeah, what are our numbers? You've got 7, is that right? 7 on, this will be 7 on 6.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Be interested to see how much I can heal people up.
Yeah. You can tell this is intense because we're not talking about something completely different. We're both focused on this fight and wondering what's going to happen next. This battle, tell me if you feel this way. More than any battle in the game, this feels like a Shining Force 1 battle. And I think it reminds me of the Tower of the Ancients from Chapter 7 of the first game.
That is exactly.
I don't typically feel that way. I don't feel that way about most battles in this game. They feel very distinctly different. And I don't know that I can articulate what it is that is so different about them. I don't know. Do you agree or?
I agree. I'm trying to think about also why I agree. Because yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. It just feels different. That's something I'll have to think about. We were talking about in comments that I'll definitely be making a video about the differences between Shining Force 1 and 2 and my preferences and how I feel about different things, so we'll talk about that. But I'll need to probably write some things down to articulate exactly why I feel the way I do.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially once the game is done and you've been able to really sit and think about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely have have to process for a little bit. the side profile of that Hydra is really strange looking.
Pixel art is tricky, especially the side profiles. There's not a lot of real estate, and you have to. A lot of it, you know, if I walk this guy sideways, this isn't so bad, but a lot of it is kind of. You have to imply kind of the character from what you can see in the front. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah.
It's very tricky.
That will do it. And now Kazan's pretty much out of mana as well.
Do you have any? I think that it's fairy tears.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll have to check here. That might be. I try to say I'm one of those that like just hoards. I never use, just only hoard.
Right.
But yeah, I think it might be the time.
It seems to be.
No, we'll go for it. Darn it. I wish
Good
I knew.
attempt.
I wish I knew what the numbers were on things like that too. They're not. They don't seem readily available online because like people were also, or Neutral was saying that Oddeye usually counters a lot more than he did in the fight with us because he didn't counter once.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I wonder what the actual percentage of that is. Like, I'd be interested to know that. And I looked it up and couldn't find anything.
Yeah, counter rates are not difficult to get. Again, I can't speak for Shining Force 2, but I can speak for Shining Force 1. The editor that is available that Rubik's put together for Shining Force 1, counter rates are determined by enemy type, and it's something that you can pick. So you can decide what is the rate of counterattack by enemy. But I don't recall ever seeing D-Soul accuracy. That is one that I've heard the same. I've heard that there's an accuracy to it. I remember vividly experiencing when I was as a kid playing that game that blue dragons, which are one of the final enemies in Shining Force 1, are very susceptible to D-Soul. So I remember bringing Domingo and D-Souling the dragons. And when Woodhouse did his Let's Play of Shining Force 1 a few months ago, I remember saying in the comments, oh, you got to use D-Soul on the blue dragons, and I think they must have tried it 2 or 3 times, and it did nothing. Oh, sometimes the luck just doesn't work, or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe as a kid I just had really, really good luck.
I don't know. I also didn't realize the Mage Staff did that.
Yeah, the Mage Staff has Blaze. The other one that's really good is the Blizzard Staff, and the Blizzard Staff, I think, is Freeze 3,
Ooh.
Which can be very helpful.
Yeah. Alright, don't curse. Darn it! Oh well, there's another death.
Trying to decide how mean I want it to be. All right, so you have 91. All right, so this shouldn't kill you, but it's gonna hurt. We're gonna keep it interesting, because I don't think you've got a lot of healing left.
Puppet.
I meant to do that. That was planned.
Yep. I mean, you can pretty well count on it at this point.
Are you familiar with the Pokemon YouTuber J Rose? Does that name mean anything to you?
J Rose?
J Rose, yes.
No.
Okay, so I don't know how big of a fan you are of the Pokemon games, and I know that, you know, fandom of Pokemon games, a lot of it has to do with age, right? People tend to like the game that was popular when they were about 10 or 11 years old, which for me was the very first generation of the Pokemon games, the original Red and Blue and Yellow on the Game Boy. And so there's this person on YouTube. His handle is JRose11, and all he does is play Pokemon Red and Blue, or 90% of what he plays is Pokemon Red and Blue. And he was playing, and typically what he does is he uses one Pokemon. So that's sort of his self-restricted challenge is I'm only going to use one. I'm not going to use a whole team.
I watched some things like that.
Okay, sure. If you've ever heard of like Madrybread, that's another person I think that does those kinds of things. And
I've had fun watching
definitely...
Small Ant lately. He does one of the ones he's been doing lately is every load zone in a Pokemon game will be completely randomized.
Oh, so it's like a Pokemon randomizer.
Yeah, but it's okay. I can take 4 damage. That's fine. Yeah, it'll be like he walks into a Pokemon Center and it takes him to the end of the game. And you're like, oh, okay, so that's where that is. And he tries to beat the whole thing in order, typically.
That's interesting. I've never heard of a Pokemon randomizer. That does sound super fun. But the reason I mention it for J-Rose, I vividly remember a year or two ago, one of the runs he was doing, it was just your standard run, but everything that could go wrong went wrong. Where, you know, he had gotten himself to the nice. That was a good use.
Yeah.
But I just, you know, his run was cursed. And up until now, this battle has felt very cursed.
Yes, it has. There's somebody right there, right? No. Oh, I thought there was. Alright, well. What does the Angel Staff do? Oh. Okay, that's an option, apparently. Wasn't
3 MP per cast. It should be enough to power you up to use Dow again in no time.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if we'll win. It'll be close, that's for sure. Hey, we got a counter for once. I assumed that was going to be a second. These guys are definitely getting good experience from this.
Yes. Yeah, and if you looked, Geralt gets 2 in almost everything. Whereas, and Bowie I think typically does too, whereas somebody like Lemon, it's usually 1s and 2s. And that's what gets you in guys like Chester, right? It's like Chester just doesn't get a whole lot of 2s. And over time, he just kind of falls further and further behind. I know I love May. I think you've talked on this channel about May.
Everybody seems to love May.
Favorite. Yeah, it's just she's a very interesting character. But my experience definitely has been that May doesn't seem to get attack ever, which means that if she's not getting new equipment, then she falls behind real fast.
I mean, she's definitely fallen behind for me, but her range makes it still kind of worth it.
Yes. And of course, there are some mithril weapons you could get that would help with that.
Yeah. Gonna kind of regroup again at the bottom of the stairs.
We will be waiting for you.
Yeah, we were also talking about before we started whether games like XCOM are considered SRPGs. That was another interesting thing. Because I never know. Like, to me, I kind of stole Harvester of Ice's definition of what it is. And he was like, it ticks a couple of boxes. There is plot, there is character growth, and it is on a grid. And I thought there might have been one other, but I can't remember what it was.
And so based on that definition, I think XCOM should apply, shouldn't it? I'd really be interested to hear what people think in the comments. To me, it has always seemed like a strategy RPG because there's no experience points, but I mean, those soldiers definitely, they gain experience, they gain levels. It's extremely grid-based. Yeah, it's a very different game, of course, right? It's not Shining Force, but it's to me, it's always been an SRPG, and it's a fun SRPG. I love XCOM. I love XCOM 2. Great games.
Yeah, they seem really fun. I've not played them, but one that caught my eye that is in that same vein is Mutant Year Zero. I don't know if
I'm
you're
not familiar with that one. What's the platform? Is that an older game or is it more recent?
More recent. I mean, it's PC, consoles, I think everything. Gotta be careful with Bowie here. It's time for that, I think.
And I don't remember, did we try using the Force Sword in the last battle, or have we only attacked with it?
I think we've only attacked with it. I will make sure to use it at least once.
Just in case.
Yep. There we go. That's what I need.
Oh, that was not intentional.
We take those. I did not think that was intentional, but we take those. But yeah, it looks, Mutant Year Zero looks a lot like XCOM. It's just about a pigman and a duckman. And I am always interested in like weird character design like that.
So what does that mean? It's a pigman and a duckman. So what is the setting? Is it post-apocalypse?
Yes.
Is it fantasy?
Post-apocalypse. So they've got guns and stuff. Looks like it plays like XCOM, but oh hey, that worked out. All right, we gotta go see Creed. But yeah, you might see Mutant Year Zero on this channel one day, because more SRPGs, yay. And you guys, I think we'll see more production as well. I'm trying to do more. Yo, is there anything else you really want to talk about? This will probably be the end of this episode, I guess. Because I think when we go through the top of this tower, it's going to be the finale.
Yeah, I think so. I know that Neutral was trying to keep things a little bit coy, but I'd hate to have you, go and spoil the finale without having everything laid out.
I actually did look that up a little bit. Okay. I didn't see anything, but like talking to you guys on Discord, you've been very helpful with me asking like, how many battles until the finale? Is it 2? And somebody was like, it's 2. It's like, okay.
Yes.
Neat, because I was asking people if there was a Dark Soul, Dark Dragon situation where it's like a 2-phase boss fight, and I was told no. But you don't have to say anything. The finale will be...
I'm conflicted here because I certainly don't want you to be put in a situation where your co-hosts are asked to come on for a short video. But if your co-hosts know Shining Force 2, then they should know what to expect, and they should be planning it appropriately.
They know a lot better than I do.
Yes. The only thing I would suggest, I think people in the comments will go insane if I don't at least remind you or encourage you, there are still some really great Mithril weapons. You also probably want to get Lemon out of that Dark Sword before he gets an untimely curse at the wrong moment again.
Oh, to me, that's just part of it, though.
Well, it does help him to fulfill his wish to die.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm like, to me, it's just part of it that, like, that's the sword he uses. That's his lot. It makes him feel like a unique character to me.
Right.
So, I don't know. But we can, real quick, let me create another save, and if you want, we'll try and equip him with something else. Because I know you were saying... So, is it that he just can't equip anything else?
So my understanding, and I'm not trying to get anybody into any trouble here, for those who are using a console, there aren't any problems. But for those who are using alternative methods that are not console, there can sometimes be problems. But it has everything to do with the platform that you're using.
I
And
see.
so, without getting into any specifics, the platform that you are using, as I understand it, does not have the specific problem that is unique to Lemon. However, what it typically looks like is that the weapon just won't equip. It's like he doesn't have that option. Kind
That's
of like
so
giving him the
expensive.
wrong weapon type.
Well, we saw that some with the rings, because I tried to give him a ring.
Maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe it is. Maybe you will have this problem. In which case, you know what? It's his lot in life to be cursed.
I mean, he can use it, allegedly. Does it...
Yeah, that looks equipped.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he can use that, but... Yeah, if I did, like, I wanted to give him, what was it? I think I wanted to give him, like, the white ring or something. And that
Now
was
rings do have class restrictions, and I don't know them offhand for Shining Force 2 like they would for Shining Force 1. But white rings is
Oh,
example
yeah.
in Shining Force
Wow.
1. It was the Vicars could use them, so you don't have any Vicars. You made everybody a mastermind.
I got one.
And Freya, and then Bowie. So that's consistent from 1 to 2. So
Weird.
the white ring is a very specific healer plus hero
Yeah,
ring.
I think... Oh, no, he can use Protect Ring. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but...
As long as we're having fun.
There we go. As God intended.
Now, what you might do is you might roll with it, right? You can put on a couple of cursed rings and just
I tried.
really. Oh,
That
so
was-
you tried.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was, I think, what I tried. Yeah, because I've got this evil ring. Yeah, Limited's unequipable.
Interesting.
Is there any other ring I have that's cursed?
If you have the dark ring would be cursed. I don't know.
I don't think I have
recall.
that. Black ring.
Black ring. Yeah.
No,
No.
not usable. Just magic users, I guess.
Which suggests that one or both of them might have a useful spell.
Hmm. Yeah, very true. I think the white ring heals. I probably should have been using that this whole time. But
It does. It has aura. I had forgotten. As a matter of fact, I think it might even have aura 2, which has the range of Bolt 2.
Yeah,
so you
that-
can heal. That would have been nice.
yeah, that would have been helpful. But I will know that going into the finale. That's what's next. You got anything else?
No, nothing for me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always, and thanks so much for bringing me on and letting me beat up your characters in a surprisingly difficult fight.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again. The rest of the audience seems to really like you, and I'm sure you'll be back again. Who knows? Maybe sooner rather than later again.
Yes, I will say, I'm not going to get into specifics here because we're working some things out, but for those who are part of the Shining Force community, yes, you may be hearing from me and from some other familiar faces here in the not-too-distant future. We're working on something that we're really excited about, but I'll give more of those details when we have them.
Awesome. I don't even know what that's about, so stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time.
Time don't feel so linear, with heartbreak so familiar. We all know what's insane, so why not break the chain, break the chain, break the chain.